The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has kicked against Buhari-led government as Buhari government prepares to reintegrate surrendered terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, wants to be integrated, according to Human Rights Writers Association. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, has described as unmitigated illegality, treasonable felony, and treacherous disobedience of the Nigerian ground norm. The recent public announcement made by the Defense Headquarters that it plans to reintegrate some surrendered Boko Haram terrorists. The group called on the government to halt the move immediately, saying it was insensitive and irresponsible and heart-rending. HURIWA pointed out that the wives and families of soldiers that have lost their lives fighting these terrorists will be hurt by the move if the Nigerian government reintegrates these repentant terrorists, saying that what will be the compensation for the wives of the soldiers that are being killed, or the people in the IDP camps that either their husband are being killed, their wives are being killed, that their children are nowhere to be found, and now a terrorist that has committed havoc to those lives, is being forgiven, yes, and they want to still integrate them into the public or to the army. To do what? They should be remanded. Well, the group called on the federal government to stop the move immediately, and saying it was insensitive, irresponsible, and also heart-rending. Also, it's like a treasonable felony committed to the Nigerians. HURIWA, which is the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, pointed out that the wives and families of soldiers that have lost their lives fighting these terrorists would be off by the move if the Nigerian government reintegrates these repentant terrorists. Human Rights Writers Association said this in a media statement by the National Coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Ombiko, and the National Media Affairs Director, Ms. Zainab Yusuf. HURIWA, meanwhile, has also urged President Muhammadu Buhari to personally investigate why the police trust fund he recently instituted cannot stand on its own financially. Talk more of providing logistical support to the near moribund Nigerian police force. Recall that Army spokesman Brigadier General Oyema Nwachukwu had announced that over 1,000 members of Boko Haram and their families have surrendered to the troops, including some key leaders of the dreaded Islamic sect. The Army spokesperson and spokesman added that surrendered terrorists will be received, processed, and passed on to the relevant agencies of government for further assessment in line with extant provision. Well, I believe in this English that they will be passed on to the relevant agency for execution or prosecution, or to be remanded until further notice. That's what I believe should be written here. Well, let's continue. And HURIWA restated its earlier call for a law-based war on terror and promotion of national security, in which case terrorists must never be pampered, reintegrated, or rehabilitated without following the due process of the law. Yes, they need to follow the process of the law. That, in a nutshell, that anybody that kills is a criminal, so it will be subjected to either at the police station, court, and thereabout, giving judgment. But definitely there will be prosecution. That anybody who kills also will be killed, because it's more or less like a murder case. If you kill one person, kill two persons, it's a murder case, and let alone being a terrorist. So the law should take its due course. The human rights group said that anyone who has participated in a terror campaign leading to the killing of nearly 40,000 civilians must be prosecuted in the competent courts of law in line with Section 6 of the Constitution. In the same vein, the government must engage in a law-based war by enforcing anti-terrorism law. Unfortunately, usual extrajudicial killing of high-profile suspects suggests a pattern of cover-up Both Mohammed Yusuf and Alhaji Buji Foy, Boko Haram leader and the financier, respectively, suffer the same fate while in police custody. Yes, closely related is the manner of enforcement of the law on the subject. Enforcement must be within the ambit of general sense of legality. The group called on Buhari to personally investigate why the police trust fund can't stand on its own many months after being inaugurated. Just as the rights group said, it is either that the central and state governments jointly revive the police trust fund, or the agencies should be folded to avoid frittered scarce public fund only paying salaries to employees who aren't actually working in line with the statutory mandate of the police trust fund. Nigeria is jeopardized. Nigeria is a lawless country as far as people who are working in government is concerned, or are concerned, because as it is, Buhari, the level of impunity that Buhari has bestowed upon himself and the rest of them, and the nonchalant attitude, nonchalancy, has bedeviled, the administration of Buhari, because he came in on board at first, said he's going to eradicate corruption. Don't you know, you who promise to eradicate corruption, you are still the person sponsoring banditry, sponsoring terrorism. You are sponsoring, you said you don't want to negotiate with terrorists, but by this doing, we want to reintegrate terrorists. You are also negotiating with them as a terrorist who have killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even more than 10, and we are talking about over 40,000 here. You still want to pardon them because they have repented? Yes, they can repent, definitely. A thief or an armed robber can definitely go to the police station to say, yes, I was once a thief, I'm in charge, or I was the one who stole this thing. The police will detain the person, let the law take its course. Now a terrorist has come and says he wants to surrender himself. Now you want to reintegrate him or rehabilitate them, change their orientation. They need to be arrested and put them behind bars for execution, or better still, let the court pass judgment for them. They will now know that Buhari is really serious concerning security in Nigeria. Nigeria have collapsed entirely. No conscience, no law. Everyone doing how it pleases him. Is it government that is integrating the Boko Haram, or a set of group pretending to be mouthpiece of government? We are finished. Yeah, I've said it. I said that Nigeria has been jeopardized. Nigeria is finished. This current Nigerian president is totally in the dark. He's in the dark spirit, soul, and body. He still lives in a medieval times, the worst in the country's history. He hardly has any understanding of what governance within a democracy is all about, being 75% unexposed to international matters. So sad for a country like Nigeria. How would they not, when they are all the same? And the so-called president is incompetent and illiterate. He does not know his left from his right. What he understands is jihadism, Islamic, and Daura cows. That's what he know. Where they have to compensate for being a gallant Boko Haram soldiers who fought to defend their religion. These integrated Boko Haram soldiers will in turn give more information to their cohorts to kill more of Nigerian soldiers. For God's sake, who is advising this government? In fact, I begin to think that they didn't want this issue of Boko Haram to stop. We have lost many soldiers, widows, and orphans everywhere. I will leave you in the hands of the comment section. Nigeria, we are doomed.